Hello there, my lovely jewelry makers. In today's video I'm going to be trying out a new subscription box. So I was contacted by Bargain Bead Box to see if I wanted to try it out, and I do like subscription boxes in general, so I kind of thought, why not? I'm always curious about new ones that I haven't tried before, and also when I looked into it, it did seem quite interesting. Now before we dig in, I just want to mention a couple of things because they were also kind enough to actually offer a discount for anyone that wants to try it, so as a new customer, and using a code. So the code is going to be in the description box down below, and what you're going to get is $2 off your first box. So of course I see that as a bonus in case it's something you want to try out. Then if you can save a bit, then why not? So like I mentioned, the code is in the description box and also any further information. But otherwise, let's just dig into it. Now I have it here in front of me, and it's not, as you can see, in any packaging because I did take it out of the envelope it came in because it was full of my personal information, but I haven't actually looked inside of it, so we're going to do that together. So of course we also have a bit of paperwork. I'm going to have a little brief look at that as well. Might just do that first just to see what it actually says. So basically what we have talks a bit about the contents, and then also you get a coupon for, it says 30% off another order. So again, anything like that is always a bonus. And then actually you can also, there's competition here, so if you get a box like this and you make anything with the box, you can actually enter a competition. I think that's pretty cool, a bit different. Also it kind of entices you to make something. And then on the reverse, yeah, that's where we have basically the description of everything that's in there. So I'm just going to keep that handy, but I'm just going to actually open up this tissue first of all. We can have a bit of a nosy. Then we have a nice little organza bag. Right, get that out of the way so I can stop making noise. So, seems pretty interesting, first impressions. Seems a little weighty. So we have a few things in here. Right, I'm just going to pour them all out and then just kind of figure out how I'm going to deal with this. I might just get the paper and then kind of keep that handy, see how much I can get in here. And then kind of go through the list one at a time and then identify them. Might be a bit of a better organized way of doing it. So basically push these bags out of the way and then just pick out one at a time, so we also get a bit of a better look. So first on the list we have some ceramic oval beads, and there's 4. So just kind of trying to find them. I think it's got to be these ones here. That's quite an interesting colour, that's for sure. So made of ceramic, and they're kind of oval, but at the same time not just your regular oval. They're quite different oval shaped. It's kind of just the basic shape, but then I don't really know how to describe them. It's 4-sided, but each side is kind of pushed in, if you look from the edge. And them holes, again because it's ceramic beads, are quite large. They tend to be in ceramic beads, I find. So they're quite interesting. Right. Then next we have a 10.5-inch strand of 6mm glass round beads, and they're teal coloured. So let's just see. I think I kind of see them straight away, probably because of the colour. It's got to be these ones. Teal is always a really nice colour. I think it's purple is my favourite, but after that probably teal goes up there for me. Teal and purple as well go really well together. But anyway, we have these clear. So they're not opaque, they're nice and clear, but obviously you have that nice teal colour. It's not really dark and it's not really light, it's quite a nice medium one. And nice and round. You get quite a few on that strand as well. You can definitely make some things out of that. Just get that back in the bag there. Right, after that we then have, looks like we might have some findings. So you also get some findings in this, which I think is always a bonus when you get these boxes, because that means that at least for some things you can literally use anything in the box and make some finished pieces. You don't have to necessarily have certain things yourself. But what it is a triangle toggle clasp. So a triangle shape sounds quite interesting, and it's 2 sets actually, and it's these ones. I don't recall really ever seeing a triangle shaped toggle clasp before. I'm sure they exist, it's just not something I've really noticed before. So they're pretty interesting, very antique looking, and fit nicely. That's definitely a different kind of shape. I like the look of that, and again, that would actually go really well with that teal colour bead, antique copper. Then we have some Embossed Tabs spacer beads. Right, let's see what that's gonna be. And I would personally say that's gotta be these here. Again, some findings. Let me just get a few out because the shape seems a little bit unusual. So they're not kind of perfectly round or anything. They're kind of an oval shape. If you can see it there. Might just actually just zoom in a little bit. You can see that shape. Kind of oval. It's almost two-sided because of it. But it has this nice little patterning on it as well. With the antique copper. Well, that's different. Definitely a different kind of spacer bead. And of course will go well with your clasp. Then we have, where did we get to? I think we got to this one. Chinese crystal fancy round beads, steel peacock. Right, so the question is what they are. So I'm thinking, it says there's 8 pieces and it's 12mm in size, so pretty large. I'm thinking it's gotta be these ones. So they look quite interesting in the shape because they are round, but they're kind of faceted. But very large faceting, and also the hole goes through there. Looks like it's a fairly large hole. There we go. And it's got quite an interesting finish. It's kind of clear, or semi-clear, but then got a bit of a colour to it, and it's partly coated. So that's definitely different. And quite large ones as well, so they could definitely be feature pieces. Then next we have, where did we get to? I think number 6. 10 pieces of 10 by 5mm round links. So that has gotta be, now all I can really see that's gotta be are these ones here, because again the findings and they're round, but there's not 10 pieces, it's actually 13 in this, which is obviously more if it is the right ones. They're kind of flower like. If I just get 1 or 2 out. So on one side, you can see from the top, you also have a hole going down through the middle there. That's the one side and the other side. So they're very flower-like. And you can then put things down through the center there and maybe use a bead as a stopper. And again, that antique copper finish goes perfect with the other findings as well. Now next we have a chevron pendant. I think I did just briefly glance a look at that. Yeah, I think it's this one here. Another finding, a metal finding. Something quite different than I've seen before. So basically, a pendant in itself, you can use it by itself or combine it with other things like beads. That's very interesting. It's got some really nice texture on there, and obviously that chevron pattern really makes it stand out, and obviously works with the shape of the actual pendant as well. And that's the back of it. That's actually very nice, and again goes with the other findings. Then the next ones here are some agate oval beads, and I'm not quite sure what that means or what that is, style. And there's 2 pieces and they're quite large, 38mm. So there's got to be these ones here. I did see them. At first glance I kind of wondered if they were actually cabochons because of the size, and I didn't really see a hole, but obviously just have a little bit of a closer look. You can see the holes there, yeah, right on the ends. I can try and catch it there. Pretty large holes as well, and they're kind of, I would say flat ovals, but they're slightly twisted in the shape of them, and they're very tribal looking like, and they're similar to each other but not exactly the same. And that's one side and the other side. So very interesting, definitely very different than anything I've seen before, or worked with for that matter. Then next on this we have some more findings. There's 3 pieces of 3-strand chandelier links. 13 by 16 millimeter. It's got to be these ones here. So basically also you can use them as connectors. That's what they're normally known as. So you would usually have, if you want to use them as connectors, you could have, say, for a bracelet or a necklace, you have 3 holes there, so you can make a 3-strand bracelet or necklace, for instance, and use them as the ends, and you have the large loop there to attach your findings with. So they could be definitely used for that, and obviously you have a 3rd one there. So there's 3 in total. You can also use them individually. I'm thinking something like kind of use them bottom small loops to maybe attach some cord and then make some macrame off of it. Either again as connectors, so make it a length maybe as a bracelet, or make earrings. So you use 2 of them, and then there's individual earrings. Just some different. You don't have to always use the findings as they're intended. You can play around with them as well as obviously beads as well. And again, that antique copper, nice kind of running through all of the findings. Then on the list next here, actually you can see, let me just move it up a little bit so you can actually see what's going on as well. Where did we get to? I think it was after those links. Then we have a 16-inch strand of Electroplated Chinese crystal beads, copper topaz. And they're 4 by 3 millimeters, so I'm thinking that's gotta be this one here. So a nice smaller size bead. Very sparkly. Definitely that topaz base color, and then electroplated, so also that metallic look to it. A decent sized strand. You get quite a lot on here of beads. Definitely very sparkly. Just get them back in the bag. So we can then, next on the list, look at, where did we get to? 7.5-inch, 8mm faceted agate rounds. And that's round beads. So let me just have a look. I think it's got to be these ones. So agate beads, always one of my favorites to work with in general. Agate is a favorite gemstone of mine. So we have the strand here, and you can see that lovely agate effect, and kind of a mix of color, kind of green and browny topaz, which goes really well together. So these, and it's also a really nice size, it's 8mm, so as one of my most used sizes, I would say. So they can definitely be used for some interesting projects. Nice agate beads there. And usually the holes in agate gemstones beads are also a bit larger than some other gemstones. Then on the list next we have 48 pieces, so quite a few, of 6 by 4mm matte electroplated Chinese crystal rondelles. Green arrow is a bit of a mouthful. That's got to be these ones here. So they're loose. I'm going to just get a few out. Have a little bit of a look without them all hopefully pouring out. So just pick them up. So you get that green colour, definitely. Matte look to it, but also then that iris effect. So it's not just pure green. Pretty nice large holes in the rondelles, and they're also faceted. Because they're kind of matte instead of the regular effect, you don't get a sparkle from them, but they just kind of leave a nice effect on the beads, I think. And it's just like different tones of green there. So they're pretty. And then we have 1mm or 4mm steel curved chain. So we actually get some chain in this box, because not for everything, but for obviously if you want to make a necklace, you would most likely need to use some chain. So having findings in general is nice in the box, but the fact you actually get chain, I think that's a very big plus. So you literally can make, I think all that maybe would be missing is some jump rings, if you would need that. Obviously depends. But you even got the clasp as well, so, and then you got some chain. That's a nice chain. Again, goes with the rest of the findings. I think that's a nice theme running through. So that was chain. Then we have, slowly getting towards the bottom there, a 10-inch strand of 8mm green glass rondelle beads. So that's gotta be this bag. it seems like quite a strand. Pretty long actually. You got quite a few beads on there. It's doubled over. And it's a bit of an unusual shape because they are rondelles, but not your typical rondelle shape. They're a bit more like saucers, I would say. A nice opaque green colour. I'll just see if I can see the hole in one of them. Seems a decent size, not large hole, but not tiny either. A bit medium, I think. You could get a bit through there, whether it's cord or thread or wire or something. Got quite a few of them beads, that's for sure. And then we have some more findings. We have some bead caps. So let me get a few out. It says you get 15. Now I'm looking at these and they're not bead caps. I think I've just realised I made a mistake earlier when I looked for those. What were they again? Let's see if I can find them. The round links, wasn't it? I said that maybe were these, but I wasn't quite sure. It probably actually wasn't, because I think the bead caps that I've got to now are actually these, because they're more like the shape of bead caps would be. You basically, like I said, you put a bead through there and it would kind of act as a stopper, and then this is just a fancy little metal piece you have on the side of where the hole in the bead is that kind of adds a bit of embellishment. So that's actually probably the bead caps, I realise. Oh, missed one there. So that must mean that the round links should be these actually. So actually that makes sense now as well when you think about it, because links, you have a loop on either end and then there's a round ball more or less in the middle, so that kind of makes sense. But anyway, it says you get 10, but it does look like 3, 4, 5, 6. I only have 7 in this bag, so it's not precise. Obviously there's a few missing, but 10 by 15 millimeter. So 10 will be the length, and then obviously the width will be 5 millimeter. So nice little kind of simple, elegant links, I would say, you can put in between things. All right. And then the final one now, we have 40 pieces, so quite a few. 6mm half matte electroplated glass barrel beads copper. Again, a mouthful. Right, the last bag left, so it's got to be these, surely, unless I made a mistake somewhere again. Wouldn't surprise me. But I think it probably seems right with the description, because barrel beads, it definitely seems like a barrel shape to me. So obviously it's not round, but it's kind of flat on the side, but all the way around, which makes it into more that barrel shape. And it's then, like it also said, half matte electroplated. So it's basically only where that barrel side of it is running around all the way there. That's where that metallic effect is. I can just try and show you a little bit better. It's very metallic though, I will say. Very reflective. Quite unusual, and then it's got a different finish kind of around the holes. And the holes seem a decent size as well. They feel pretty different to kind of touch. But anyway, you get quite a few of them, 40 beads. And then just on the end here, we have little kind of stars on some of the descriptions, some of the items. So where's only one star, for instance, there, that's to do with the findings. That the description about that is metal used is high quality, lead free, pewter alloy with antique copper finish is what it says. And then we have 2 stars, that would be, for instance, this one. So that's to do with the agate beads. That then says agate is permanently dyed and heat treated. So just a bit of information for you. And then it also says the approximate total value of your box here. So that's everything you got in the box. So yeah, this is then an overview of all the contents. You can really see a color theme running through this, I think. So obviously all the findings are the copper, antique copper there. And a lot of the beads are also that same tone the same family, I think. So they'll obviously go well together, and you still then also have some pop of colour, especially with that teal and obviously the green as well. And now I just want to mention that while I laid these out, I realised that on these bags are numbers. And I thought, okay, well, it's just some numbers. And then I started thinking, wait a minute. The list has numbers. And then I thought, I wonder, each bag has a different number. And I realised it actually says on the bag what number on the list that the item is. So I didn't have to try and identify anything. I could have just literally looked at the numbers, but there you go. That happens. But at least I know now. So, and now you know as well, in case. I don't know why I didn't even register the numbers there, but at least I realised now, a bit late, but anyway, it's not going to redo it. I've already obviously gone through it. So just so you know, and well, my excuse anyway is that right now we have a heat wave in the UK, so that's making my brain not really work properly. So let's just say that. But anywho, what I'm going to do now is take some time, go away, look at some of these materials here, see if I can maybe come up with using some of them, and obviously maybe the findings as well, and then play around with them a little bit. So I'm now back, and I made a few pieces of jewelry with some of the materials. Now the very first piece that I made was with materials that kind of surprised me that I actually used them. First of all, it's all these here, they're all used for one piece of jewelry. So that kind of surprised me using that many different ones for one piece, but also quite a few of them I didn't actually think I would end up using just because it's not something I'd naturally be attracted to. For instance, there's some of the green ones here. It's not a colour that I'm that normally attracted to, except if it's with purple or something. And there's also golden beads, and then there's those ceramic beads as well, quite large ones. There's also this empty bag because this had some of the metal spacer beads, so I ended up using all of them, hence why the bag is empty obviously. And then just to show you what it actually was that I made, just get all these out of the way, I basically ended up making this really long chain. And I chose all those different beads because I thought, in a weird way, they actually worked really well together. And then I combined it with copper wire. And also what I ended up doing was making these little double-sided rose links, or beads, whatever you want to call them. So again, because it's a very long chain which can be worn in quite a lot of different ways, it doesn't matter because they're double-sided. Doesn't matter what side obviously is facing out or not. But I actually think it works really well together. And then all of these with that copper wire. So, like I said, these aren't normally, most of these materials, something I'd be naturally attracted to, but I've actually ended up quite liking this necklace. So, just to give you a bit of an impression, if I can untangle this now, of course. It's going to be a bit hard, but it's basically really quite long. So either, my thought is, you can use it as, obviously, overhead necklace, and it will double up nice and still be fairly long. And there's other ways necklace-wise you could wear it as well. A few different ideas. Or you could wrap it around as a bracelet. Because it's so long, obviously wrap it around multiple times. And then you have a nice, quite chunky bracelet, but again with all those different colours of beads and just different textures. So I've actually come to quite like this necklace or whatever it is. So that's the first one, also because it's quite long. It also did take me quite a while to do, but I'm quite happy with this one. The next beads I used were these teal ones here, so the teal glass beads, and it was probably pretty obvious because I really like this colour normally. So the colour immediately attracted me to them, and the size is a really good size as well. So basic rounds, but they're 6mm. So that's a very good all-around size, I think. So first of all, I did actually make two different things with these. First of all, I made a simple little bracelet here. This is just a 3-strand braided bracelet that I have made quite a few times before. If I can get it in focus here. But the difference being, I've never tried to make it with twisted wire before. So I kind of thought, why not give it a go to see how much of a different look it'll give. But because they actually have, I saw they have pretty large holes, so I thought maybe, because I twisted two lengths of 6mm together, 0.6 rather, sorry, 6mm, that would be something, and wondered whether that would fit through, and it did. So I thought, why not then grab the chance, since the holes are large enough, and try and then make a bracelet with twisted wire, a braided one. And I finished off just the clasp, same technique as I've done in previous braided bracelets, and then just using that twisted wire. And I kind of like how that twisted wire has given a different effect to it, even though it's just a basic simple braided bracelet. So that was the first one that I used these beads for. Next, I then used these beads in combination with these ones here. So these are the Chinese crystal beads in a copper topaz colour. I'm not going to get them all out because I cut the strands, so they're all a bit loose in there. But you can see, I thought they kind of went pretty well together. That golden effect with the teal colour. I'm just going to put them back in, otherwise they'll go all over the place. So what I ended up making with these two was, again, a variation of something I've done before. This is a wire kumihimo bracelet that I've previously done and also have a tutorial for, but what I then did was I used these obviously for kind of the center all the way around, all the way down, and then on the outside edges I then added these for some extra color, but also sparkle because they are faceted and have kind of a metallic coating to them. So I kind of thought, give that a try, just a bit of a different twist on a previous design that I've done. So it's ended up looking like this, because I thought the design fits perfectly to add something extra along the edges. So that was another bracelet that I made. Now lastly, I used these 8mm agate beads. Now agate is always a staple in my stash, different colours and different finishes, and I quite like these. It's a different colour, I would say, that I've ever worked with before, but quite natural feeling, kind of that wooden feel to it, brownish, greenish, different ones mixed together. So I did quite like them. So I didn't know I wanted to use some of these. What I ended up is actually using one of them because I ended up making a ring. Now this is actually an old design, get that out of the way, of a ring that I've done a long time ago, but I never really did any more with it. You can see. And you then have that bead kind of nestled into almost that little nest, but with wire all the way around. And I did think that copper wire would work the best for these beads here, the colorway. So that's what I ended up making, just that little bead kind of peeking through, kind of like a little bead's nest rather than a bird's nest. So that was just a single bead used for that ring. Still pretty impactful though. And then aside from the materials that I've just showed you, this is what I have left basically. So whatever's in the bag here, those large agate beads and quite a few of the binding things, some clasp and chain as well. So there's still a fair bit left to still make more things with, and still the clasp and everything as well, which I did think I could have used for that necklace, but I liked the idea of it being an overhead one, so I ended up just making it a full length chain instead. But obviously I could have used that clasp for that if I wanted to. So these were the things that I ended up making with the materials from this box here. So a nice long necklace, that ring just using a single bead, and then just a couple of bracelets. So I think I got quite a lot out of it, with still some more materials left, especially that long chain I was used quite a bit, but there's still plenty of them left. So also a nice mix of different things, I think, and different styles. So I really hope you enjoyed this video here, seeing the things that I can make with materials in this box. Thank you so much for watching it. Remember, check the description box below the video for any information. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching it, and I'll see you in the next one.